Wages World here. Today is the 18th of June, 2020. Come at you with a video. I know I didn't do one yesterday, guys. There was a few things to talk about, but wasn't just going to pop on for a couple minutes. I actually made a couple different ones the day before because of the sundiver stuff that was going on. But yeah, so that's why I'm doing this. Anyway, we're going to just jump into it here, guys. Obviously, this is the Schumann. Give you an update on that, and you know, we'll go through some. I'm seeing some really weird stuff on a couple of the satellites that I think you guys would be interested in seeing. It's kind of strange. I don't really know what to make of it so far, but we'll talk about that too. But anyway, you know, again, this is our new norm, pretty much. Look at that. Okay, that's, you know, back in the day, this would be solid white, and look at that. That is just completely chopped up. Those are pulses, and you know, I don't know what's changed here, guys. You know, I think something big has changed. You know, we're not getting that consistent frequency increase when we get spikes anymore. These are pulses or waves, however you want to call it. But something's going on here, and you know, again, are we ever going to figure out exactly what that is? You know, guys, I kind of lean towards probably not. Not until we're supposed to know, and this is so far out in everybody's face, you know, people can't deny it. That's going to be how it's going to be brought out, I guaranteed. But also, you know, if you look real close, kind of in here in this hurt level here, you can see that the coded line is still there. That one, that's right around 16. Now, something I've noticed is it's starting to creep more and more that direction, and I often wonder, once that coded line is what I'm calling it, once it reaches our normal frequency of 7.83, you know, what's going to happen? You know, I've wondered that for some time, but you know, nothing could happen, or something could. You just don't know. But it is kind of interesting to think about that, because it most certainly, you know, it's almost like, this is how I was looking at it. If there's something or someone or something like that's trying to communicate with us, and they're trying to do it through this. This is the way I see it. You know, maybe they're trying different frequencies here to see exactly where we're at. You know, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So is it one of those things, once they, you know, figure out or whatever that 7.83 is our normal, or what we're used to here, if that's the point when everybody just kind of wakes up and be like, oh my gosh, somebody's talking to us, or somebody's trying to communicate, or something like that. You know, that's kind of what I'm thinking here on this particular subject with this coded line thing. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we can't do anything other than wait and see. But I've wondered that for some time. And, you know, and it could be completely wrong. You know, there's no way for me to say, yes, that's what's going on. But I can tell you that these things are creeping closer to our base frequency. I don't want to call it base frequency. I'll call it the normal frequency we see. Because there's really not really like a base frequency. It's just something that is normal for us to experience, and that was 7.83 hertz. Okay. The other frequencies are always been there. They just haven't been that intense. Okay, until, you know, recently. And again, you know, you can see where our frequency has increased, and it's not dropping at all. It just continues to get larger. And also, you know, here again, a bunch of pulsing spike signatures here. And then this here was kind of a strange shape of a signature to look at. It wasn't nothing like crazy or anything like that, but it is kind of odd to see that, you know, it's actually below our 7.83, so it's a lower frequency causing that. But again, we've talked about that at length before too. So again, I would encourage anybody to research Schumann resonance as much as they can. You'll be surprised at how much you can learn, and how much this actually affects everything that you do. So anyway, we'll move on. Okay, guys, we're going to run through some space weather conditions just real quick. just so you guys kind of know where we're at with that. Our solar wind speed right now is right around 300, which is very normal, very nominal. It's not something that we would even consider looking at, really, when it's like that. It's just like right where it's supposed to be, or what we usually experience. But the solar X-ray flux, obviously, what you guys can see here, you've seen a direct, like when that sunspot that was facing us, that's when this baseline of this solar X-ray flux actually raised. Remember? And as that thing rotated off, it actually dipped back down to a lower base, because that's why, because that sunspot had moved off. Now, it didn't get as low as what we would see with no sunspots, because there's actually another active area that came right around, I guess, like the 9, 10, 11 o'clock position. It is an active area. I don't think it's an official sunspot, but it most certainly is giving us some solar X-ray. So that's probably why that didn't drop out. Something else is kind of note here. You see how it's spiking down every once in a while? This is a solar X-ray flux, so it's what that's showing you is it's a fluctuation, right? From what a normal baseline would be. So it's going to show you spikes in different directions, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It didn't just drop off to zero, okay? Obviously, I think most of us can probably figure out that probably really can't even happen. But don't quote me on that either, because there might be some crazy physics thing that I'm not aware of that we could experience zero X-ray flux, when we have a sun. But anyway, what that's showing you is just the difference from normal. It could be down or up. Typically, we see the spike upwards, because that's what we look for. Anyway, geomagnetic activity seems as though we're starting to get really, really too quiet again. We don't want to be this low because of cosmic rays. Okay, and I've talked about that before. If that continues, they probably will put out like a cosmic ray alert or watch or whatever they do there. I'm not quite sure how they would word that or give people warning on that kind of a thing. Here's our current picture of the sun from SDO. I think it's SDO. It might be. It's from the Go 16. Okay. It's still from our views, just so you guys know. But anyway, if you're looking at that, you can kind of see some patchy coronal holes right here. And what that will do is, here's the equator of the sun. The Earth kind of sits here, right? So when it's rotating through those coronal holes, here in about 3 or 4 days, we will see the solar wind stream pick up. And looking at this, it would probably come in what we would consider like a pulsing or a wave action, because it's not such a completely gaping hole. It's patchy. In other words, the opening is not always there. It closes back up, and it gets to the part of the sun where it's not completely open. But you can see where that would be. Now also, there's a southern coronal hole, always there. Okay, sometimes it looks like it's not, but it's actually, it kind of closes and opens all the time, but it never closes all the way. It's always there. And so is the northern one. Okay. But here's that active area I said was coming in. It's not that big. Okay. But, at any time, guys, I've shown you guys sunspots that pop up in 6 hours. Okay. So by the time I'm done making this video and posting it, there could be a sunspot somewhere. But there could actually be one as we're talking, because we get, this isn't real-time data. This is as close as we can get, but it's not real-time. Now, so we got this, and sorry guys, I paused it there because it started raining and I wasn't expecting it to. The sun's blaring out there, but it's raining. Probably be a rainbow somewhere if I was to check it out. But yeah. So we'll move on. But here's the ACE weather condition. Okay, these are the data we get from that. Now, we don't often see this. Okay, and what I'm talking about, you look at the solar wind speed and you look at this and see the range. Now, anybody that's been watching my channel for any length of time knows that right around, like I said a minute ago, 300 is the norm. Anything above or below would be obviously considered out of the normal range. Now how far off it is whatever, but we very seldom experience solar wind that is 200 or lower. Okay? I'm talking it's a rare thing, guys. Solar wind is always there. It's just the charged particles from the sun moving this direction. Okay, that's what it is. There's always stuff leaving the sun, so it's never going to go away. Which is why our magnetic field, or our bow shock, doesn't go away. Okay? It takes two things to create that bow shock. Alright? If you got the Earth here, and you got our shields, right? Our magnetic field, it creates a bow shock out here. Okay, and why does it do that? Well, because our magnetic field and the solar wind, the point where they interact, creates that bow shock. Okay, that's how that's created. So the only way for that bow shock to go away would be for our magnetic field to go completely away, or the sun would have to cease to exist. I mean, that's pretty much what it would. That's what that means. Okay. You have to have solar wind and a magnetic field there for that, or charged particles, I should say, and a magnetic field to create that bow shock. So that's why that thing never goes away. Now, I know there's been a lot of reports of people saying, hey, it went down, this and that. Well, no, it doesn't go down. Okay? The only way that could go completely down would be from either the sun disappearing or our magnetic field just to completely cease to exist. And if either one of those happens, you don't want to be around. Well, fact of the matter is, we wouldn't be around. We would be over, just so you know. So hopefully that never happens. But anyway, that range going all the way down to 200, that's crazy. Usually this starts at like 300 and shows you up to like 5. But we did have a reaction here. It looks like the triangle might have did its magnetic flip there. It looks like, because all three of them, if you look at those signatures right there, they're almost mirror images of each other. So whatever happened there, whether it was a triangle flipping or something else, caused all that to go on. It was the same thing. It caused all three of them. So, and if you look at the temperature there and down there too, it reacted too, just not in that same exact shape, which would be expected because temperature usually fluctuates a little bit slower than what other things do. Also here, guys, you seen where we had a little spike going on here, plasma density. That's what happened yesterday. But you see how they're predicting nothing to go on, basically for 5 more days in front of us. Now, they can't really say that for 100% because when they get new data in, they change that model. Okay, that model takes updated data and adjusts itself. And I spoke on that a bunch. But as of right now, they're not seeing anything. So if a sunspot pops up, or if we have a CME or a solar flare, obviously they'll change that. Which is why I always say, and you guys are probably getting tired of hearing this, but I only trust this thing about 2 days out in front of us. Okay? Anything after that, I just don't even pay attention to hardly. I might look at it, and I might even show it to you guys, but it's you can't really trust it for any kind of accurate information. All right? Now, if you see here, you've seen these little spikes going on right there. Not nothing to really even talk about, to be honest. So let me take you over to stereo A real quick. Okay, guys, I got you over at seeds, and this is the LASCO C2. This is our view. Okay, here's our satellite there. This is the direction we're looking. Okay. Now this is the sun diver I showed you guys a couple days ago. Now if you look, you see the precursor one, and then you see the bigger one come in. All right, there's been a lot of channels reporting on this now. It was very interesting to watch this thing. Okay. But as you can see, here's that first one coming in right there, and it kind of disappears. Why does it disappear? Well, the solar wind ate it up, just so you know. It disintegrated it. Now that one coming in actually made it, believe it or not. Now I didn't show you guys that part, but the core of it actually made it through. It did not hit the sun. It went on through and went on by, which is something odd that we don't typically see. Okay, And I'm going to try to show it to you here because you do get to see it come out the top. And another thing that's happening here, this thing is moving extremely fast. I mean, I watched this thing come in and move out. I mean, this thing was booking. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys, this sundiver coming in here again. We're going to look at it here. And that was the precursor one, but here comes the bigger one. Right about there. Obviously, you guys can see that, right? Now, you see how it kind of fades out? Well, once it gets behind that occulter, that red disc is an occulter, okay? It blocks the main light of the sun so we can even see anything. But we don't get to see it on this day, which is why I missed it. I'll just be honest, I didn't see this thing come out the top. Somebody else pointed it out to me. So, we'll go on to the next day here, and we'll check this out. I do think we get to see it come out the top. Yep, I seen it. Okay, so what we're going to do, it's going to be a little dot, okay? And I'm going to try to catch it here for you and show it to you. It's going to kind of come out in this area. Let's see if it comes out here anytime soon. Yeah. You know what, guys? Let me pause it here, and I'll get it set up. All right, guys, just to give you a little idea of how we're looking here. Okay, this is the edge of the occulter. Okay, I got you zoomed in pretty good so you guys can see this thing go across there. And there it went. I just missed it. Sorry. But it's going to, like, you'll see a dot in this area. Just watch. And it's going to be real small, but you'll be able to see it. And I'll try to point it out when it starts passing through there. But this is showing you that this thing did not hit the sun. Okay? That's just basically why I'm showing. There it went right there. Okay, I know it's hard to see. I get it. I guess I could probably slow it down. But we'll back it off here a little bit and let you guys look at it that way. It's right in here. Again, I would encourage you guys just to go look at it on your own so you can slow this down, look at it, and check it out. But there it went right there. See it moving? Okay, and it rotated. I mean, it moved really, really fast. So, yeah. So we're going to move on from that, but that did happen. So I've seen a couple channels saying this thing hit the sun. It did not. Okay, and even if it did, it wouldn't matter. These things hit the sun all the time if they make it all the way through. So a lot of times, guys, they just disintegrate, especially once they hit the corona of the sun. Conditions just get so intense that it can't survive. So that's what's going on with that. So let's go on to the next day here. Yeah, okay. So I'll back that up a little bit there. This is today's, and, you know, I'm seeing some odd looking, just, I don't know what to call it. There might be some small ejections going on, but nothing really to write home about. The sun's been pretty quiet, just to be honest. So what we'll do here is I'm going to go over to stereo A, and I'm seeing some stuff on stereo A that I really just can't explain. I really don't even know really where to start with it. So we'll go back over here to stereo A real quick. And again, this is that day that the sundivers dove in there. Okay, this is stereo A's view of that sundiver. And I showed you guys this already. Okay, that's that main sundiver, I think. It could have been the first one, I guess. And why does it look like this? Well, because we're looking from the side now. Okay, the one I just showed you, the Earth is here and the satellite's there, and that's the viewpoint we're looking. Now we're looking from this direction, so that's why that looks like that, like it's coming in from a different direction. All right, it's the same one. Okay, but yeah, so we've seen that part, right? Now, I actually noticed a couple different things here on the 17th that were, first off, you see that big flash, okay? Now, there's a lot of questions on what that is, okay? But let me tell you what I think it is. And we see these quite often, okay? Now, you know, you're probably going to have a lot of people out there trying to tell you that it's a fleet of UFOs or something like that, okay? But let me explain something just real quick, because I used to think kind of the same thing, but they're not. Because once it was shown to me what these actually are, You can't really refute it. And I've explained this a bunch, and this is a really good way to actually explain it to you guys again. If you guys look at this, okay, and if you take that, because we see these same exact shapes all the time, and the reason being is because they're reflections off the inside of the camera, guys. Okay, you have to keep in mind these cameras are tube shaped. Okay, they look like this. And I guess if it was like bowed out on the end there, which actually would help me explain things what I'm trying to show you here. I'll tell you what, let me move that over to here, and we'll do that kind of. Oops. They kind of look like that, and I'm doing that for a reason, okay? Because actually from the side, they would look just like this, okay? But you got to think three-dimensional. It's a tube, all right? So if you cut that tube in half, what happens? Well, you end up with something that basically looks like this. Let me see if I can't draw it. Okay, it would look, if you're looking down from it, maybe, it would look like this. If you're looking down from the top. You would have that arc if you cut that tube in half and rotated it. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So these cameras that are out there on these satellites are like this, right? But they have moving parts in them. There are baffles in there that move to adjust the light. And they're circles. They're half circles. They move. Okay? They're trying to make sure that they get the best picture that they can. So when this thing gets a big rush of light into it, sometimes it will do this. Okay? Because if you look at these are half tubes, basically. Okay? So please just understand that these are not really something that people should be freaking out about. I used to do the same thing, guys. We even named them. We named them Kool-Aid cars, remember? Anybody that's been with me for a minute? This is not a fleet of UFOs, guys. I can't say that it is anymore. I used to think, man, what is that? And it used to freak me out a little bit. But again, if you look at the shapes of these things, what I just showed you guys, it does very good explanation on what, okay? And also with us having the action on the sun shooting light massively out, it makes perfect sense that this camera just got flooded with light, and the baffles didn't have enough time to turn to block it the right way, and that's what we see. These are internal parts of the camera, the reflections, okay? The data is just how it interpreted it. It's all that is. And you're welcome to have a different opinion. I'm not going to be mad either way, guys. But that's my opinion. I actually changed my position on this, about a year ago because of what I was shown. I'm not going to continue, telling you guys something I think isn't true. So it would be very irresponsible for me just to keep moving and not even address that. So that's why I brought that up. But anyway, there's a couple other things here I want to show you guys. All right. See if I can't find. I'm going to pause it for a second. Okay. Now, this was really extremely interesting to me. Okay, because we don't see this very often. We had something go across the screen here. Okay, and it was not the comets or anything like that, and it didn't just like zip across, and it didn't go real slow. Okay, if it had done either, if it would have been moving real slow, I would probably call it a planet or something that's out there all the time. If it was moving extremely fast, I would probably call it a comet. But this thing did not do either. Okay, so what we're going to look at here, it's going to be in this area right in here. Okay, you're going to see a bright light, and it's going to move from there, and then the next capture, it's going to be up here. Then the next capture, it's gone. Okay, so let me, there's the first one. Now, if you just look at it over here, it just looks like maybe a charged particle or a small meteorite, right? Well, if you look real close, you can kind of see shadows around it. What I call shadows is probably not really true shadow, but that's what it's looking like. But if we go over here and look at this particular view, you can see how it's a little bit different. You can see how it's got probably a little bit more shape and size to it than what this one was showing you. Okay, so let's go to the next capture. And just as I suspected, we got the ghost image because it was so bright. That's what this does. And I've shown that a lot. But look what it did up here. Okay, on this particular capture here, guys, this camera set up, and this what this tool does, that when it sees a really bright light outside of the sun like that, it puts a gray box over it because it's trying to interpret that data, right? So that's what we see that a lot with bright objects that go through here on stereo A or any coronagraph stuff that we're looking at. Okay, but here it is over here. It moved. Now, if you look real close, obviously that's a square, right? That's a box. That's a pixel, basically. Okay, we see that a lot, and it's a square, and that's why I don't show stereo A very much or lean on it too much, because the definition of it sucks. Just that simple. Okay, but we can see if we just look at the red view here. Well, sorry about that. I'm just going to back it up. Okay, there it was first. No, nothing there, right? Then there's the first capture. And then there's the next. Okay, and then the next one is gone. So, and I checked the timestamps too. They're exactly where they should be. They're a half hour apart. Okay, so we get this one. That's at 17:24, and then a half hour later we get the next capture, and it had moved that far in a half hour. And then the next half hour it's gone off the view. Okay, that was an object of some sort, guys. Whatever that was. I don't know what it was. I can't even point you to a direction to go look. I don't think it was either one of those comets that we were talking about. The direction of it just doesn't line up. So, I don't know what that was. I can tell you that it was probably pretty sizable, depending on how close this thing was to the satellite. The closer it gets to the satellite, the smaller it actually is in life. Okay, the closer it is to the sun, if it's that size and it's way out there by the sun, that's a big object. Okay, so I don't think it's I think it's probably somewhere in between, maybe. So that's kind of where I'm at with that, at least my thoughts. Now, something else, I did notice this too, okay, and this was, you guys might not even be able to see it very well, but if you look real close, you can kind of see a wavy line kind of doing something like that right there. Okay. I'm wondering what that is, because I've never seen that before. Not like that. Not in such a erratic shape. Okay. And I don't see it over here. Okay. So I don't know what it actually is. Let's go to the next capture. And, I'm not seeing, see, it went away. It's not there anymore. And on this one, here's that object right there. It's got the gray box over it. But I didn't see anything over here, so I don't know what to think of all of that part of it. So let me back it up. Something else I did notice, if you look here, the one prior to that, it does look like there might have been something there too, a half hour before, which would make this even more weird, because if that's an object and that was the first time we've seen it, that would mean, if that's the same object, that thing traveled from here to here and then went this way. Okay, and that's really why I wasn't even going to bring it up, because I can't say for sure, but if you look at it, that same little squiggly line looking thing followed that thing. So I don't know what this is, but I can tell you that it does not look very like a natural thing. You see how that went that way? See, I looked over here on stereo, over here on the red view, and I don't see it the first time, but you can see it over here. So if that was the same object, and I'm not saying that it is, because I just don't know, but it looks to be like it's related in some way. And it's almost like this, guys, and I don't even want to say it, but I'm going to. It's almost like the sun was reacting to it a little bit somehow. Because it kind of does one of those numbers, and whatever that was, it looks like the sun might have been reacting to it a little bit. And then once it got over here, and then it went that direction, and all the above, right? So, because that squiggly line doesn't go away. I wish I could show that to you better. But it's there. If you guys want to go check it out, just go look at it for yourself, guys. You can even see like little wave actions going on here. And there's always usually a little action over here. That's part of the camera itself. It kind of distorts things right there in that one spot because of the way it's set up. But for it to kind of do its little thing like that. That was just really strange. So, I don't know what to think about that, guys. I know I just repeated myself about 1,000 times there, but that's what I do when I'm kind of, out there trying to figure it out and not really know what that actually is. So, but if I just toggle those back and forth, just look at the left side here, okay? Watch that dot I just showed you. I'm just going to go, there's forward, there's back. This looks to me like that's related somehow. So if it came from there to there and then went to here, yeah. I don't know what the... yeah, so I'll tell you what, let me find it again here. What the heck did I do? Wow, that was stupid, Mark. Okay. What in the world's going on here? Let me back that up some. Wow. Sorry about that, guys. That's ridiculous. I don't know what the heck I did there. I'm going to pause it. Okay, so we'll move on here, but check it out. Here's the little white dot. It's going to toggle through and do that back and forth. What the heck happened there? Did it do it again? My gosh, man. Sorry, guys. We back that up a little bit more. Okay, so we went from there. Now you gotta look at the right side too. It's not there on that one, but it is on the left. It's here, right? Next, and then boom, starts going the other way. Look at the right. Back it up. There's where we first seen it. Oops. There's where we first seen it. And then, man, I'm having all kinds of problems. Sorry, guys. Then it goes there. And then look at the right side when it goes up. Boom. Okay? And then it's out. So, yeah. So, that's what's going on with that. I don't know what's causing all that. But, anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Obviously, I'm having some issues here. So, anyway, God bless. Yeshua saves. And you can drink this Kool-Aid.